Hi, this is Christian from the Never Engine Labs. I'm just making a quick video to run you through today's update at the Rhythmic Computation Lab, today being the Tuesday, the 19th of April 2016. It's actually one of the drum computers that I was going to launch early in the lab, but for one reason or another it got held up. It's old school, I would say, because of that, in the sense that it only uses Capytalk to generate gates, and it uses the Kyma 7 Euclidean for beats algorithm to create the trigger patterns. So it's old school in the Never Engine Labs way. It doesn't have any of the, at the moment, it doesn't have any of the newer Professor Braff rhythm computation tools that we've been developing, these modules, the groove and time index modulo, or the non-Euclidean for beats. So this stuff isn't integrated into this machine, so it's quite unfunky, let's say. It doesn't have a groove and swing, but that's exactly what makes it have this certain character. As you can see it runs with at the moment it's designed to run with a multi-sample module from the original Kyma 7 prototypes. So it has 4 voices, and you can load your own in here at the source sample file names named here script. You can just add them here in between the parentheses. And the important thing is to remember that they must all be mono or stereo, or you might get some weird sample rate conversion, which you might be interested in. But for now, I would suggest keeping those file formats the same. They can be 44.1 or 48 mixed sample rates or mixed bits, but not mixed channels. And yeah, let's just take a look at it, and I'll run you through the VCS, which is where a lot of the character and personality comes of this machine. Let's have a listen to it. Yeah, so here you can see there's a lot going on, but it's kind of just repeating the same thing. There's a run button, there's a solo button, and there's a level fader for each voice. There's a kind of rate for it. There's a frequency modulation, which is a kind of envelope shape on the pitch. You can adjust it here in the source code, of course. There's also a send to a filter effect, and that filter effect range is controlled by a global fader here. There's also an effect send. You can hear a small delay. That's the time code of the delay, and here's the send into it. It has a sort of rounding algorithm for the effects time. You can choose different fields. And you can use that as a sound design effect. So that's just repeated here for each of the voices. And to the sequencer part here, you've got what forms the beats part of this Euclidean algorithm. That's to say, this is the total amount of beats that defines one bar in the for the algorithm. And differently to other integrations of the Euclidean algorithm, here I've just done a fader that works in a percentage. So when you put 50% of the pulses are being 50% of the bar pulses are being filled. There's 100%. This machine was originally designed for Sus Gunvor, and she was asking me to have also the possibility of being able to really define some some steps that you always wanted to happen, and I think that's a good idea. So I've also blended a step mode with the Euclidean mode, and you can kick it in like this. So that's supposed to be a kind of 4/4, except it isn't, because it's doing extra Euclidean fills. So you see the step mode is an additive mode. There's a pure step mode, like the conventional machines. But you can add in some Euclidean fills. And a couple of extra features is you can route to the different outputs in Kyma, and you can add a velocity shaping envelope, a kind of amplitude modulation envelope, and that's defined here. You can put your own ones in. This one is taken from my 4096 Volume 1 collection. It's kind of exponential that flips back again. It's quite cool for these short percussive samples. And that's about it. Oh, there's one important function, which is this one, the rotate. What that does is a cool feature. It's like when it's in 0, every voice relates to each of these sort of sequences, right? Like here, you're all in step modes and the mix. And when you press 1, it will rotate. It will rotate the voices. What that means by rotate is that it shifts all of this sequence and sound design parameters that are going on the kick drum, for example. It shifts them over to the snare drum, and it moves the snare drum along to the hi-hat or whatever samples you happen to have. So you sort of rotate the hits around the sequences. It's quite a cool feature for creating different fill-ins and variations. And I added an auto mode to that, so it can run according to an algorithm also, which you can tweak inside the code. It's got some overdrive and some stereo tools up here in case you're working with wide samples. It's a good idea to mono check them or bring them in. Sometimes I found when you're tracking this and having a great time, and then later you discover that the stereo field was too wide. So it's a good idea to work on that here already. Yeah, have fun. It's a good grooving machine. It's not funky at all, but that's why it's got there. It's earned the name of the Wild Boar machine. Have fun.